It's Wednesday, May the 16th. Lake level is right at 916 and a half. Water temperature is about 75 degrees, pretty much all over the lake. And I mean, the last few days have really been awesome. Getting into my favorite time of year, which is post-spawn, where them fish are actually starting to move out over structure to actually feed. During the spawn, the boys are just interested in chasing the girls around. But then after they get done spawning, them fish rest up, start going back out there where they're going to be for the summer, but they start to feed up heavy. So there's a lot of different bites going on. Before I get into the fishery report, I want to mention that Sportsman Factory Outlet is having a Memorial Day blowout this weekend. They've got some closeout deals on rods and reels at 50% off. Strike King, a lot of Strike King products, 25% off. Just all kinds of different sales. Anything that's not on sale, if you're a veteran, you get 20% off anything in the store that's a non-sale item. They just got a whole bunch of stuff in there. And a lot of the reason you hear me pumping up Sportsman quite a bit is, they're not the biggest tackle store, but them guys have everything in that store pretty much that we need for the area lakes. And if something's hot and new, like a couple baits I'm going to talk about here in a minute, they're the first ones in the area to get it. They've got specialty colors, but it's just, I find it's the best tackle store around for area lake needs. It's got the best inventory. Like I said, if they don't have it, they can get it. But the fishing, yesterday was just a picture-perfect day for mid-May. It was cloudy, a little bit of wind all day. And I'm finding these topwater fish and swim bait fish. They're out off a lot of the main lake and secondary points, around pole timbered points. Some of the best ones are if you got a channel on one side or the other. Catching them on a variety of different topwaters. Probably the best one that's working the best for me is a walking bait. For some reason, we're catching more fish on a walking bait versus a jointed redfin. The jointed redfin's working, but it seems like the Strike King Sexy Dog, and I know a spook will work as well, but I think it's just the walking action they seem to be more excited about. And you'll get fish that'll hit it 4 or 5 times before they actually get a hold of it. They've been coming over the top of it. Now there's been some fish they'll show themselves. You can see them surfacing. Some areas I'm just fishing over where I know the submerged timber and the channel swings are, and we're pulling the fish. And what I mean by pulling the fish, the water's clearing up good. A lot of these fish, after they get done spawning, will go out over deep water, but they won't go deep. They'll suspend about 10 to 15 foot, and the clearer the water is, the better. With a little overcast, they'll come up, and that's why they're hitting the bait so hard. They're coming up for 10 or 15 foot on a full charge, and when they miss the bait, they come flying over, they knock the bait up. But normally, once you get one interested in it, he'll stay with it till you can hook up with him. Another bait, and even like today when the sun come out, yesterday was perfect. It was cloudy, overcast. We caught them all day long. Sometimes when it gets a little slick, this is a new Picasso scrounger head. There's been a lot of scrounger heads around and some other knockoffs, and I've played with a bunch of them. The problem I've had with a lot of them is this thing just wobbles back and forth. But the problem I've had, if you reel them too fast, the bait goes round and round. And about 2 casts like that, and it ruins your line. It just gets it so twisted up. But I just got these from Sportsman last week to try them out, and I fished them a bunch the last 2 days. Had no trouble with them rolling. And they've got them in 1/2 ounce and 3/8 ounce version. And I've been tipping it with a fluke. This has got a Strike King Rage swimmer on it, but a Kitech will work. And basically what I'm doing is fishing this like a little swim bait or a grub. Trying to estimate how deep the fish are in the water column and just slow rolling it like a spinnerbait. Get it down about 8 to 10 feet, sometimes around timber, sometimes over just that deep open water. A lot of times the fish they'll just bump it. They won't actually take it. What you got to do is just keep reeling it till you feel them load up. Sometimes they'll hit it 2 or 3 times before they take it in, but it's a pretty light bite. And this is another color. You know, a lot of different colors have been working on my top waters. I should have already had this one out here. But this sexy shad, now I'm determined to get it out. Okay, this sexy dog here, it's a chartreuse sexy shad color. That's working real well too. It seems like the bone and the whites are working better when it's overcast or early in the morning. To get the sunlight out, I'm throwing that color there. But a yellow magic will work good as well. Another thing we started playing around with today, we went to some docks. We caught there's still a lot of fish spawning. These fish that I'm catching out there in the post-spawn area, they're not all post-spawn fish. Some of them have not spawned yet. They've all been better quality fish. They're the ones that are going out there to rest have been feeding. They're getting chunked back up. A lot of Kentucky bass out there that have not spawned yet. Their bellies are still bloated. You can still run down the bank and catch a lot of fish. But I'm finding a lot of them males, you know, they're £1.25 pounds, £1.5 fish. Some of them might be 16 inches. They're pretty stressed out from the spawn. They're pretty skinny. The better ones I'm finding are back out there a little deeper. But like I said, we did go to some docks today and started flipping up to about 12 feet deep, some in behind the docks, and I think some of them are spawning. This is that new 5-fish ultimate finesse jig. It's really an awesome jig. And they've got it in 3 different sizes, 5/16, 7/16, and 9/16. And the 9/16 one I've been using in place of a football jig. I'm backing out on some of these main lake points and starting to get, I'm not getting a lot of bites out there, but most of them are better quality, and that's where a lot of these fish that are backing out are going to start going. If you can't catch them suspended, try it on the bottom, anywhere from 15 to 25 foot deep. That's where there's going to be, every day there's going to be more and more concentration of fish out there. But as far as the shallow bites still, I mean, you can catch them on a Ned rig, and it seems like the places where I'm doing better on the spawning fish is the bigger rock, 45-degree banks, and I'm just fishing the shade of the rock, meaning that you'll see a ledge and then all of a sudden you'll see a bigger rock and you can't see the bottom anymore. That's where most of them fish are coming from, and we're throwing Ned rigs. This is a Wacky Rig Cinco on like a flick shake head, green pumpkin, watermelon, and just letting it sink down there real slow. Another way we're catching was on a Texas rig, Zoom Lizard. Just a watermelon red, dip the tail in chartreuse, but just so many different ways to catch fish right now, and it's going to get better and better because, like I say, the fish that are biting are hungry. They're not, unless you're back in there where they're spawning, those fish are protecting eggs or protecting beds. The other fish are, you know, going to get chunked back up for the summertime now that the spawn's over. So it's really a fun time. So till next week, good luck, good fishing.